Thanks, Karin. A new ABC News Ipsos poll shows that 86% of Americans think Biden is too old to serve another term. That is a higher percentage than what we found in a previous poll in September. So clearly polling shows this is a persistent issue. What is the White House strategy to try and change that perception?
So look, we're going to continue to lead on leadership, right? We're going to continue to focus on what this president has been able to get done, what the president has been able to get done on behalf of the American people. And look, I'll quote a little bit of what the First Lady said, I think incredibly well, just a couple days ago. President Biden does more in 1 hour than most people do in a day. His age with experience and expertise is an incredible asset, and he proves it every day. And that's what we believe. We believe.
Folks, come on. Come on. Does anybody with their head on straight think that's legit? Joe Biden is more in an hour than people do in a day. I don't think so. Now, that was from his wife, so clearly she's off her rocker too. So the president's off his rocker. He's clueless. You don't even know where the hell he's at. He's talking to dead people. Karin Jean-Pierre says this guy's sharp as a tack, that she would compare him to anybody out there in the world in terms of stamina. That was what she said. So the president is off his rocker. The press secretary doesn't even have her head on straight. Clearly, Joe Biden's wife, Jill Biden, is just bat bleep crazy too. So like I said, it's just another example of what is the most outlandish thing we can come up with today? And let's make sure we stand on the podium and let millions of people know that. Insane. Does anybody believe that? Let us know in the comment section. Holy Lordy.
Believe that his age and his experience, because he was a senator, because he was obviously vice president, because he has these long decades of relationships with leaders, obviously across the globe, and what he's been able to do, that's what we're going to lean into. That's what we're going to speak to. We're going to speak to how he turned the economy back on its feet. We're going to speak to the 14.8 million jobs that he was able to create, how unemployment is at under 4%, how he's able to beat Big Pharma because Medicare can now negotiate and lower costs for the American people. That's what we're going to focus on, and I think that's the most important thing at this moment, at this time, is delivering for the American people and continuing to do that.
And bouncing off of the previous question, the numbers show that President Biden has engaged in about 33 news conferences. Compare that to Obama's 66 and Donald Trump's 52 by this time in their presidencies. Can you explain why the president isn't doing?
So look, yeah, and I hear the question, and I know that folks want to hear you all, and it's important because when you all hear from the president, obviously, so does the American people. So we get the importance of that, and we're always going to try to find ways, obviously outside of press conferences as well, for the president to be out there. And we have found some non-traditional ways. We think it's important to try and meet the American people where they are, and so that is important as well. Whether it's a podcast that's important, or doing certain things that is not the norm. Obviously, the president, I should say, takes your questions when he's on the road, as more often than not, and he finds it important to have those conversations when you all are out there with him on the road, taking your questions, and so he does do that. As far as press conferences, we're going to try and make sure when it's the right time for those to happen. Certainly, we will do.
Folks, when it's the right time, meaning when Joey's all doped up on drugs so that he's somewhat coherent to coherently answer a question. That it's all timing, you guys. They're trying to get him on his best day in front of the American people. That's why they plan this stuff out far in advance. They've been asking for 3+ years to get this guy on the podium. They've been asking for long form interviews. They just won't give it to him. So their answer is, well, we're going to find unconventional ways, like unusual ways, kind of to get our message out to the American people. Well, isn't it just kind of within itself unusual, the fact that you're not chauffeuring this guy out on the gurney like you were doing previously, doping him up on whatever the hell you're doping up on so he's somewhat cognitive, somewhat coherent, somewhat engaged? Look, if you're going to say that this guy's, sharp as a tack, that he's all there, his stamina's through the roof, everything's fine, then why are you having to find different ways to communicate with the American people? Like, why is she bringing up podcasts? I don't think I've ever seen Joe Biden on a podcast. I mean, maybe Charlemagne the God's podcast, of which he said, if you ain't voting for me, then you ain't black or something like that. I don't know. It's wild.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.